Hi there and welcome back. If this is your first time to the community, welcome. I am Dr. Chung and I'm your friendly proctologist based out of here in Southern California, USA. Today we're going to talk about something that's super important to all of us because it digs deep inside our core, our self-esteem even, and that is body odor. You know, it's strange to think that a smell coming from our body can lead people to make value judgments about who we are as a person. But what can you do? That is society these days. And today I want to talk about body odor most notably from our bottom ends, because that's all I know, right? I don't know anything about anything else. I've got no right to say or comment on that. But today I want to talk to you about possible sources. What have I experienced in the office? And what are some suggestions I have for you to try? Let's get to that. And of course, I truly appreciate if you like the video and subscribe to the community. I'm here to help you. And if you're wanting a consultation with me, please email me at yourfriendlyproctologist@gmail.com. So the first source of smell we're going to cover is going to be the easiest one, which is poop, right? It's going to smell like poop and you're going to wonder, okay, did I have a leak coming out? Do I have a smear on my underwear? Did I not wipe properly? Those are the obvious questions, but how did it get there is going to be the main question. And the one that's going to stump most people is the very soft poop, right? If you have hard textures like bricks, usually you're not going to get any smearing and it's going to be locked up in the rectum vault, right? You're not going to have any residue inside your anus. But if it's very soft and you know it because you had to wipe multiple times to get it clean in there, or you had to use multiple baby wipes, you're probably going to have some left over still in your anus. So I've covered this many times before. If after you get clean, even if the tissue paper is white, spick and span, if you do a lot of activities like walking around, maybe go work out, you may be surprised that, I think I smell like I didn't finish pooping or something. Or maybe I have a little residue on my underwear. And then you check and sure enough, you may have a little smudge there. Now that isn't because you are incontinent, it's because when you're moving, the anus folds are rubbing back and forth and some of that may seep out. It's completely normal and the soft poop is also very healthy.
Perfectly normal, perfectly healthy.
I would tell you about my old videos where I had a dime-sized smudge on my underwear after I would wipe. And I was okay with that. Why? Because if you start working too hard to make yourself too clean, then you may get wounds, irritation, itching, and other issues like cuts on the surface of your anus skin. And no, you definitely don't want that. Another reason for poop smears is because you had surgery done, right? Maybe you have some deeper scars or grooves in your anus as a result of surgery. Maybe you've had your sphincters or your muscles also operated on for various reasons, whether it's a sphincterotomy from anal fissure surgery or you've had anal fistula surgery where your muscles were manipulated. That could be another reason why you may have some smudging going on there. So let me tell you about some solutions for the smudging going on. And the first thing is obvious. Change up your hygiene routine. And I mean, don't use the baby wipes or the toilet paper to do the heavy lifting of the cleaning up. Get a bidet, and I am a true believer in this technology. ManyBidets.com is sponsoring this video, but again, I've done reviews on it long term, and I'm still a huge fan of it. You know, I just told you I get dime-sized smudges in my underwear, like the Hershey squirts type of thing, or skid marks. Okay, that does not happen anymore. I get that squirt gun from the bidet to fire inside my hole. Okay, too graphic? Yeah, but hey, it's real life, okay?
This is real life.
No longer do I get those spots on my underwear. It helps me with my spasm issues. It helps me with my fissure issues because it relaxes me. And the good thing about ManyBidets.com is they have real human customer service representatives. Okay, someone to talk to, discuss what's going to fit on my toilet, What can I afford? What features are recommended for the issue that I have? They are knowledgeable in bottom end conditions and helping you find the right one. I mean, that is huge. I would definitely recommend you give them a call, visit them on their website for more details. But that's the first thing. Please get a bidet. Another suggestion for very, very soft poop is to actually make them a little bit more firmer or collected, right? I'm not talking about making dry bricks here, but if your poop was a little bit more formed and had shape to it, well then maybe you wouldn't have so much smudge or residue inside your anus for it to kind of seep out during the day. The most easiest and natural way of doing it is with fiber supplementation. Whether it's through your diet, maybe you take a gummy, for example. Start small and build up slowly. Too much fiber can burn you, and I've got videos with side effects on that. But that would be a great way so that you don't get this little bits and stuff that get left behind after number 2. Another suggestion is, of course, pelvic floor physical therapy. If you feel that your muscles are a bit on the weaker side, finding a pelvic floor physical therapist can give you ideas and ways to rehabilitate your muscles, make them stronger, function more optimally in order to reduce the amount of smudging. Obviously, seeing a surgeon or a specialist like myself can be very helpful in trying to tease out which one is going to work for you. Major source of odor number 2 from down there in your derriere is from farting. Yeah, you think you just fart pure gas, like purely filtered, HEPA filtered and from your anus? No. I mean, one thing we all learned from COVID is that when we cough or when we sneeze or when we talk even, junk is flying from our face, from our nose and our mouth, right? Mucus, bacteria, viruses, all this stuff. So the anus is exactly the same way. Unfortunately, our underwear is the filter, and the gas passes through the fabrics of our pants and whatnot. It's how we smell it. But there's going to be particles of poop on our underwear. You may not see it, but believe me, it's there. And don't tell me you don't fart, okay? Especially if you're on a high fiber diet, you know you're farting more than ever, and you have a gas storm that's trying to come out, okay? Because fiber creates a ton more gas from the bacteria in our gut. So it then follows and makes sense. The more poop load or bacteria load on our underwear, the more we're going to be able to likely smell it. How about if you got that bacteria from tons of farting that you've been doing that day, and then you go work out or you go run around, it's hot outside. You think your sweat mixed with that and the dampness in that area is not going to smell? You gotta be kidding me. Of course it is. But hey, it's natural. We're supposed to expel gas. We unfortunately have flora that makes gas. This is all, in other words, a reason for odor, but thankfully, this is one that's not noticed as much, right? So this is probably one that's less likely, but it's simple as just washing up, right? Taking a shower afterwards, changing our clothing, and then problem solved. Major source of odor number 3 is discharge, okay? Discharge is what I mean when the fluid from the anus making mucus, the gut lining making mucus. Maybe you have a wound or you just had a surgery done and you've got some pus type of liquid coming out, or maybe it's clear liquid. You know, these liquids in themselves can have an odor or they may not. Usually the thicker, more boogery type of discharges have more of an odor to them, but it's not exactly poop, okay? It's very hard for me to describe in words what it is, but it's kind of musky, but it doesn't smell like BO, right? BO has that kind of cigarette type of, that's how I describe it, cigarette type of smell. This is a little bit different, but of course, sometimes it's very hard to tell. Everything's all mixed together. The one thing that it's usually always mixed with, though, is stool, okay? So this can be a combination, and usually, again, you can kind of tell, like, this isn't how my poop normally smells. And the solution for this is, of course, healing the surgery recovery, right? Then that source of discharge can be over. The other sources of discharge need to be troubleshot by a specialist or a physician. Someone needs to examine you and figure out where is it coming from. Fissure, cuts on the skin, hemorrhoids. That's where things can get a little bit more tricky, and you're going to need someone to help evaluate that. In addition, discharge can be especially frustrating because it keeps coming. It doesn't stop flowing many times. And so in that case, the odors may be there 24/7, right? And you may have pooped way early in the morning, yet you still have the odor despite showering multiple times a day. This one can be extremely frustrating, and therefore the root cause of the discharge really needs to be hashed out. Major source of odor number 4 is going to be from the apocrine glands. That's spelled APOCRINE. These are a very special type of sweat gland because they activate after puberty hits. And that's how kids, when they go play outside and they come back in the house, they don't smell that bad, right? It's not until they hit puberty, these apocrine glands start to activate, that they start smelling like disgusting adults, right? And we're like, get in the shower, would you? You smell terrible. But they produce oil, they produce pheromones, and that's where the body odor is coming from. Where are they found? Mostly in the groin, in the bottom end area, but you can have them like under the breast line, you can get them in the armpits, and some people have them in the private area, like in the anal area, genital area as well. Dealing with apocrine glands is not easy at all. The treatments are very varied, and it can range from surgery, medications. There are some natural remedies as well as some other surgical procedures like trying to reduce this amount of sweating. I think seeing your medical doctor or seeing a dermatologist is a really great way to start. Reasons for odor number 5 may actually surprise you, as it did myself. Hey, this is not something I learned in residency training or in school, okay? But the patient, I've had a few, come to me saying that they have this very strong odor that comes out from their private area, okay? And it stains their clothes. Like when they take their clothes off, the smell is in the fabrics. It does not smell like poop at all. They don't sweat. They don't go to the gym. They don't have discharge. They don't have poop. And it does not, like I said, it does not smell like poop. And they're like, no doctor has ever been able to figure it out. I've tried hemorrhoid treatments. I've tried all kinds of things, and nothing seems to make it better. They have to wear heavy cologne and maybe use other kinds of fragrances like in their clothing when they're cleaning their clothes in order to disguise it or mask it up. In these cases, I have to play hardcore detective. It's obvious these people are suffering in their daily lives. They can't go to school. They cannot be in closed spaces with people. Can you imagine that? They've got to be outside if they want to feel comfortable, where the air is moving. They can't go to work. Even family life at home. One patient even told me their family members, like a little sister, was making fun of them. Not on purpose, but just the comments they would say. Little kids are unfiltered, right? It's like, oh, that freaking sucks. That's terrible. But what was the commonality between these people? Well, I found that all these people had really, really deep butt cracks. Usually means, yes, they have bigger butt cheeks, right? You raise the mountains, the valley is going to get deeper and deeper in between. And when I examined them, they don't have poop there, but the skin just goes on and on and on. And I am like searching for that, like trying to get rid of dirt and like trying to get rid of stuff in the attic to try and find this anus, right? And some of their skin folds are so deep that it even continues towards the front side. Like from the anus to the bottom of the scrotum and the penis side, there is so much skin fold touching each other. And so what it occurred to me is these people are having discharges or sweat just trapped in there, and the bacteria load is probably very high once that happens. And these deep skin folds are just harboring this bacteria as they're working. Maybe they have also a mixture of apocrine gland hyperfunctioning in that area, also adding to the problem. That's where probably that strong smell is coming from. So what I've had to suggest in these people is to try Arm & Hammer baking soda powder or Arm & Hammer powder for jock itch type of thing, baby powder, to keep the skin dry, to keep the air moving is what the goal was. And both these patients actually found a lot of relief in that. Now, this is also super interesting because I'm hearing of a phenomenon called the BBL. This is the Brazilian butt lift done by plastic surgeons to make their butt look more contoured, a lot more plump and round. But when you raise the mountains, like I said, the valley in between becomes deeper and a much darker place, right? You're searching for the anus. You're really trying to pull away mountains of skin to get to see their anus. And this is the same type of phenomenon these patients were going through. It's a very musty smell. It's a very powerful smell. And I think that is exactly what's happening here, is the skin has nowhere to breathe and the bacteria just flourish. They love it there. And of course, none of these patients from the BBLs probably want to put baby powder on there, but I think that is an unfortunate side effect from having a very, very deep butt crack. The thing here is, of course, maybe a referral to a dermatologist to see if they have any ideas. Maybe trying any natural homeopathic types of creams or types of oils to put on your skin may be helpful with it as well. But the powder deodorizer and keeping things dry is going to be the mainstay and what has really helped all of my patients. Now, our bodies are wonderful creations. There's so many things our bodies are capable of. But of course, we will never ever get over somebody telling us that we're not so fresh, or like, hey, did you wipe back there? You know, it doesn't smell like you got it all. And that would be devastating to our self-esteem and to our happiness that day, right?
Oh, this is so embarrassing.
But I hope this list of common sources of odor from your bottom end area will be helpful to you. Definitely try some of the things out. See a specialist if you find yourself lost, okay? Something like a smell is something you can only really do in person. And with the trained doctor, yeah, they should be able to figure some of this stuff out pretty easily. And so I hope this video was very helpful and entertaining for you. I really hope that you are able to play detective and actually solve your odor issue if you are struggling with that. And I'd like to give a shout out to manybidets.com, because for sure, the most common reason for odors is poop. And the number one way of getting rid of that type of odor is, of course, making sure we're cleaned up afterwards. And I use this strategy with the bidet to fire into the hole, okay? It gets in deeper because my poop is soft. I don't want to have other health issues. I want to maintain everything and have good solutions so that, well, so that I don't smell bad from poop smearing like I used to, okay? And the thing about manybidets.com is they truly care. Talk to them about your health issues. Ask them for their suggestions. Talk about your budget and talk about different options that may help you with your health journey with your bottom end. And thank you to manybidets.com for being a sponsor and being a believer in the mission and community. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.